life is kind of like focused on, being kind of merging my personal but also professional life in a way that I enjoy. So a lot of my, accountability partners, because even like exercise and stuff, I guess maybe for me it's helpful.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another video on Tea Time with Letitia. And today I am drinking Super Mint by Stash. And Super Mint is just that. It is like super mint, but I love mint tea because it's very relaxing. And it also helps and aids in calming down your stomach. So it's just a very mood calming tea to drink. And I also want to make note too, I'm drinking from my Penn State graduate school mug today, and I really like it. It was a gift for doing some work with the Penn State graduate school. Today's video, I have with me Dr. Indira Turney, and she's going to introduce herself and her tea.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Indira Turney, or Dr. Indira Turney, and today I'm actually drinking garlic and ginger tea. It's not in a bag. It's garlic and ginger. So reducing stress, keeping my immune system up, and reducing cravings are the three main reasons I'm drinking it while I'm home during COVID-19.
So this is a homemade tea. What are the ratios? Like what?
Um, So I'm Caribbean, and nothing I've ever cooked, I know the ratio for. It's a little bit of this and a lot of that. I wish I had a cup to show you, but I probably cut off this much of the ginger and crushed it with a heavy cup, and maybe I don't remember, maybe three garlic heads, or pieces, crushed it up again, peeled it, crushed it up, and just put it in a pot and boil it. And it's not even ratio because I've boiled the water maybe 3 different times. So after I drink the amount of tea, about this amount, which is I think maybe about 16 ounces, I would then put water back in the pot and boil it again. And this is the third time, and you can tell, it's losing its flavor a little bit. So I'll probably start a new batch after this. But so ratio, I don't know.
That is so interesting. I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna try it. It does not sound good, but I'm gonna try it.
It's really good. It's really, so ginger, so it's spicy. It's like a little spicy flavor, but not like cinnamon spicy. And then the garlic, actually, I really don't like garlic. I don't like cooking with like actual raw garlic. I have to like grate it and just get like the juice. And I actually like it. So try it.
I will. I will. Maybe I'll try it and drink it on one of these Tea Time with Letitia's.
Yes, yes, do it.
Okay, so today's conversation, I want to talk to Indira and pick her brain about accountability groups. First off, can you define accountability group?
Right. Well, so what I consider accountability group is whether it's a group of people or even sometimes just another person. But I really believe that you should have more than one person because you can be too dependent on one person. So for example, if I need an accountability partner for working out, I have a friend who is well versed in whatever it is I need accountability in, right? So someone who works out and, is fit and has the goals, probably what I want to achieve, or at least has the ability to help me get there. So in some cases, I feel you probably don't even need someone who's an expert, but someone who can motivate you to do whatever it is that you want to do, right? So like they may not be an exercise person, but when I'm laying down in bed, they can text me and be like, well, remember yesterday when you said you were going to do this, and if you don't do this, you won't be able to get XYZ done, and you respect that person enough to value that, that opinion, then that's all you really need. So someone to just really push you to do the things that need to do, and either encourage you to show up for yourself, or someone who can show up so that you can, help you show up because they're there and, they're reliable, and you don't want to, whatever the things I guess are important to you. For me, I like to be reliable. So if I know people are going to show up, then I'm going to show up and be there, Yeah.
So are these people, so you're in academia, you're currently a postdoc.
Mhm.
Are these people also in academia with you, or are they people who you met over the course of your life?
Um, so it depends on what the accountability group is for. So, for example, working out, I have a variety of people for that. They're friends I've met throughout academia, and they are also in academia. But there's also people who are just personal trainers or people who just work out that I met at the gym, and so we, showed up at the gym all the time and at the same time every day. So eventually, we kind of, created like a bond. So it really depends on what the group is for. Recently, I started a virtual writing accountability group, and that includes people in academia, industry, people who are just trying to write a book or just who want to blog. So it's a wide variety of people, as long as so it doesn't really matter who they are to some extent, but more so like once you guys have the same goal is the first place to start, or at least someone who will motivate you to to get to those goals.
Mm-hmm. So I know that I heard you say you have accountability partners for working out and for writing. Do you have any other accountability groups or partners?
Ooh, child. I have an accountability partner for almost everything. Like, so what else do I do? So I have an accountability partner for the way I spend my money and budgeting, for example, right? So if I feel, so I have a couple people who, they have these goals where they spend their money wisely, they have all the accounts that everyone should have, and they are not, hurting for money, needless to say. And so I would talk to them about how to spend money, how to budget. And over time, I've kind of like come up with like a routine, but I would still check in with them all the time. I have like an official financial guy, and I also consider him an accountability person because I know every 3 months or so when he check in, like for example, when I first moved to New York, I lived in a 1 bedroom apartment, and he was like, maybe you shouldn't based on your income. And I would, because living in New York, like I was definitely spending more than 50% of my salary on just rent. And I was like, no, I prefer to live by myself. That's not going to happen. But like unconsciously, that still made me feel like the next time I, talk about my financial goals, I can't use rent as an excuse. So it pushed me to find other options. And so being able to like come up with like side hustles or like different living conditions was not solely because I wanted to, but because someone encouraged me. And I know, and every time we would meet, he'd like, oh, these are good things that you're doing. What did you change? And I always like having this like, oh, let me tell you what I did, during the last 3 months. But if I had no one checking up on me, I mean, of course, we all have our own willpower and whatnot, but it helps to have that. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of accountability, but it's also more of I guess guidance is more so what I was thinking about for like traveling and stuff. But or I guess I should more put that in the realm of self-care. So I know a few people who are really good at self-care, which includes traveling, taking care of themselves, meditation, yoga. And so I have those people who I have that I check in on a monthly basis to be like, oh, well, I tried yoga, but it didn't work for me. I'm talking about why that isn't the case. Because for me specifically too, I like to plan out everything before I even try it, and I would be caught in the planning phase and never actually try. But if I have an accountability person who I know I have to report to, I can't come back at the end of the month and be like, I still think I might try yoga. I don't know, maybe. So again, it's like forcing me to do the things and try things out, and having someone who is knowledgeable that when I say something didn't work out, they can also recommend other things or tell me certain things that I think may work, is good or bad. So yeah, so I guess, yeah, self-care, exercise, writing. I also have accountability partners for just overall. So I guess I can consider my mentors, my academic mentors, or not just my academic mentors, most of my mentors in different realms as accountability partners, because again, we're checking in on different timelines on a weekly or monthly basis. I have some people that I check in once a year, and that's helpful because I'm giving them an update of where I am in life, personally and professionally. And we do talk about, so what's next? Like what, like how is this working for you? Why do you think this works? Okay, let's continue doing this. If this didn't work, what do we need to change? So I guess most of my life is kind of like focused on, being kind of merging my personal but also professional life in a way that I enjoy. So a lot of my, accountability partners, because even like exercise and stuff, I guess maybe for me, it's helpful to have someone within those realms that's also in academia, because that's currently the field that I'm in, right? And so it's helpful that even when we talk about exercising, they can be like, oh, well, when you're in a conference, you can use the, hotel gym, but it's like a different perspective on working out while you're at a conference. Because for like, a personal trainer can easily be like, oh, you're busy, whatever, like, but even though you're there, make sure you get up in the morning and do that. But like understanding that you're at a conference until wee hours of the night, networking and, finding creative ways to still get your workout in. And of course, like, professionals are still able to detect that even though they're not in academia, but something about just having those people, sometimes even at the same conferences, are helpful. Because then if I'm like, oh guys, I'm going to bed now, and it's 10 o'clock and they're like, did you work out? Well, let's go to the gym. Let's at least just go on the treadmill for like 5-10 minutes or something. So I think like I try to like have people within my professional life doing similar things as well as like my personal life, because they kind of sometimes merge together, so that I feel like both kind of help me be my best self.
Yeah, and I definitely like that, you are trying to merge your personal and professional life. I mean, I realize that there are some instances where professional life and personal life should separate,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that it is important to take into consideration that your professional life isn't independent of your personal life and vice versa. So having that, talking to someone in academia and asking them, how do you do this? Versus talking to a personal trainer and asking them, how do you do this? You may get two completely different answers.
Exactly.
So
And I
I
don't do
really,
that.
I really like that. How do you keep up with all these different people? Like, do you have a place where you have their names written down and like you have, I'm gonna check off this month or this time of the year? Is it an Excel spreadsheet?
That's a really good question. So I think it depends on the group, right? So like I think with working out, it's a little more obvious who those people are, and I'm usually close to them, like each of them very close, so I don't have to like keep a spreadsheet. But like the writing group, for example, again, like focusing on merging my personal with my professional life, like that's an example where I genuinely enjoy bringing people together. So it doesn't necessarily feel that difficult to try to remember people. So like I am always very personal with everyone in the group. And so even with the writing group, for example, it's not just we get together to write. We also have occasionally where we would meet up and just get to know each other. So that way it's not just that I'm using you to get what I need, you're using me, but we actually both have the same goal, but a genuine interest for each other to succeed. Because again, I think within these groups, like you have to, it can't just be show up for the other person because they showed up for you. Because some days when you don't feel like it, you can be like, well, they'll be all right. I don't need to do this, where the groups form themselves. And if it's not working out, I don't force it, because then that's more work on me. I would have to try to remember everyone's names. I would have to try to organize everything in the group. Almost everyone needs accountability, right?
Yes, yes, I would definitely agree with it. And not enough people utilize it. Me, for
Exactly. And so like it's just a matter of like I think like I started, I'm like, okay, well, I need it, so I'm gonna post it. And then I was like, let me just try this. And like a slew of people contacted me, and I was like, okay, sure, I guess we'll just do a group thing then. Making sure people have similar goals, but also have the time to dedicate to those goals, right? So I'm not gonna ask someone to join a writing group if they just finished writing the dissertation and they're in the job search because they're not trying to write. So I think a lot of people are currently home, and most as scientists, all we have to do is analyze data and write things we can do virtually. But I mean, aside from the fact that there's a pandemic happening, we need the accountability when we are able to get ourselves to work. And so, again, I posted on social media like, oh, I'm going to be writing at this time if anyone want to join. And again, a slew of people contacted me. And this time, I collaborated with someone, so Black women PhDs. And so most of the people who responded were women of color. I think there's something about people who look like you, right? Like I'm not going to get an accountability partner who necessarily everyone wrote 10 books and I'm like, okay, well, you be my accountability partner, because I can't relate to that. And so I think having people that are like-minded, but also you can relate to based on the things that you're struggling with and the things that you need help with, helps you to see that in the other person and also show up for that person, because then it's helpful to see, because you know what it means for you to show, for them to show up for you, so you show up for them, you know. So it doesn't really require me doing anything, because in the end I have no doubt that we're gonna, like, of course I don't know everyone's names now, and so we created like a, you know, WhatsApp group just to like keep the communication in a very streamlined way, so I'm not texting like 40 different people. But I don't feel the pressure of having to organize too much, aside from, okay, well, what does the group need? Okay, well, maybe we'll have some, you know, structured talks on writing or something, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing it on my own, because I'm like, one, I also need it, but also it already feels like a community. And so I think that's kind of the theme for every accountability group or partner that I have, is that we're doing this together. I mean, of course, if you have a trainer, that's different. That's not an accountability partner. Like, yeah, they may serve as that, but I don't necessarily consider them an accountability partner, because one, I'm paying you. But, you know, I think it has to do with, we have similar goals. We both want to lose weight. We both want to gain more muscle. We both want to, you know, compete in CrossFit or whatever the case is. We both want to, we're both struggling through similar academic writing, or just writing in general, because the people in the group are not all academics, you know. And so I think it's just making everyone feel like they're part of a community, and it's not me using you for me just because I need the accountability. So I don't really like the word accountability, but it's kind of what it is, you know. But I think the theme is just making sure everyone feels like a community, so I don't have to force it and keep a schedule and keep a list of who's here, because, and again, because it's a part of like my life, you know, like I don't have to remember that, oh, I have a group for this and I have a group for that, because it's a part of my normal day to day. Like I have to write, I have to work out, I have to. So, you know, I know who I need to contact for these things, because I do it on a regular basis, and it's part of my life too, as it is theirs. That was a
Wow.
lot. That was a lot.
But that was, you were dropping bars. Like, that is a lot of good information that is like the whole point of this YouTube channel is to give tips to students on how they can, you know, be healthy and holistic and have good graduate or educational careers.
I'm no longer a grad student, but I definitely, you know, did all of this in grad school. So dissertation, I had a dissertation writing group. Like, you know, we would meet at a certain time, but I wouldn't ask you know, non-dissertating students to write with us, because it's a different pressure. It's a different, we're in a different mind space. We can relate to each other differently. When I was doing comms, I also had different people who I would, you know, talk to during comms. In grad school, as far as like conferencing and figuring out how to get a publication or how to navigate grad school, like, you know, being a part of even like the Black Graduate Student Association, as you know, like, you know, that was an accountability group for us to like, when we got together, we didn't talk about work, because we're all in such different disciplines. So that was for me, my accountability group, to do all the other things that fulfill me, which included, you know, whether it's being on a committee and, you know, doing something within like the community, or just hanging out, you know, that if I didn't have a stopping point or an event to go to, I would be in the lab, you know. So like that was in itself an accountability, to be like, okay, stop doing this, you know, you have to meet up for this person, or, you know. So it was just a matter of like, whatever I needed accountability for in grad school, I did not do it alone. Like I can't think of anything that I did in grad school that was solely me. Yeah, no.
That is amazing. And I'm so glad to hear that, you know. Well, actually, I don't even know. Once again, I don't know why I'm surprised, because you did so much. Of course, you got help. Like, there's no way for you to have done as much as what you did and not have support groups and people to keep pushing you and to help you keep going. I mean, honestly, when I be wanting to stop, I have people pushing me. Yeah, but I've never thought about them to be intentional and say that they are my accountability partners, but they are. Thank you so much for all of this information on accountability. I enjoyed my tea with you, and I can't wait to try your tea recipe.
Ginger and garlic.
Tea Time with Letitia is a segment of Gratified Grad where we discuss topics affecting graduate students. For more information on how